show, I bought myself for the occasion of the video the little fake. It's a Chinese make, so you can see. But it was fun. I've identified this one's Voldemort.
Yeah, not so difficult.
Not so difficult, but this one's the elder ones. Yeah, well, there's so much gunk out there to have. And I think I'm going to wear in my hair Fleurs. And I believe this is Luna's. So these are going in my hair. I'll be right back. We made a decision. Voldemort is also going in.
For visibility reasons.
For visibility reasons. There you go. Oh, that's tight. It's tight.
Year 3.
We're back for year 3.
New director, Alfonso Cuarón.
Yes.
He is certainly taking a different view of things, which I really, really like. Because you immediately start with, oh, you don't? Interesting. I do. Let's talk.
First thing I wrote down was Dolly Cam. Dolly Cam. Dolly Cam. Oh my
Isn't
god.
that for the 3D?
This is too early for 3D. 3D is not until movie 6.
Yeah.
But
still, that it will have been affecting things.
I think it's more to do with video games and to get movement into that. I don't know. It was a lot to look at.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
As long as I'm not in the movie theater and it's not 3D, then I won't be throwing up.
It was a lot.
Well, okay, so there's that. But Chris Columbus was doing very much the Annie version of Harry Potter for the first 2 years. And they're 11 and 12, and it's cute, and it's fun, and it's lovely. And they're all little Hogwarts students with all their little Hogwarts clothing. And everybody is all the same, like any musical made ever. This movie is saying, right, you're people. You're 13-year-olds. You don't agree with your teacher half the time. You have quarrels with each other. You're not wearing your school uniform in your off hours. Because that was a major beef I had with the first two, especially the second movie.
I just edited the other two, so I looked at all the pictures. They actually do rock around in their sweater quite a bit. But not as much as and this and but I do take what you mean, yes.
Yeah. Here the moment, because Alfonso Cuarón, he comes from it from a completely different perspective, not the idealistic musical version. He's coming from, okay, these kids are living there, it's Scotland, so not only do we not have any sun during the Quidditch match, but the Quidditch match is in autumn, therefore the weather's atrocious.
Yes.
The weather's actually atrocious. The weather is a theme throughout the whole thing. He does the seasons. You see it become autumn, you see it become winter. And he also, basically, there is no sun. After the first lesson with the Hippogriff, that's the only sun you see in this entire film. And that's correct. I've been to Scotland.
Scotland, yes.
I was there for 2 weeks in the summer.
Not sunny.
And there was one afternoon of sun the entire 2 weeks.
And a lot of rain.
And every day it rained, except for that one day.
Yeah.
So I had 13 days of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's correct. Also, it's very vertical. Whereas Hogwarts wasn't up on like moor-like stuff. Well, it was more flat moors. Now it's quite vertical. So they walk out of Hogwarts, they go down.
Yeah. One of the beefs I have with this movie, and it gets worse with the other movies, is that they completely redid everything. And of course they redid Dumbledore because the actor is not available anymore. So you have to get a new actor to do that. But they also redid Flitwick, who's the same actor, is just completely different looks. They redid all of Hogwarts, like you said.
Did we see Flitwick?
Yes, but not. Yes, we did. And in the other one, he is sort of like a gnome with long white hair and a pointy hat. And here he is a much younger person. He youngified.
Yeah, that's annoying.
That's annoying. And I don't understand why, because nobody else gets. Yeah, Dumbledore gets a makeover, but we understand why. This has no reason. And I also don't understand why Hogwarts gets a makeover. I mean, you enjoyed the makeover, but the Dumbledore's office gets a makeover. He's completely different in the next movie.
That's normal that things get makeovers inside the school.
No. Literally the entire space changes in size and shape. Yeah. So no. Yeah. And that's kind of annoying. I don't understand. I understand from a movie that is made and then every 3 years you make maybe a sequel, but you don't know if you're going to make the next sequel. They knew they were going to make the next ones. Yeah. So leave the stuff out there and just use it next time. I don't understand why that's necessary. It's annoying. For the continuity, it's bad. It's a minor, mostly for Flitwick, it's most annoying. I mean, the locations... Okay.
I didn't even recognize that they were the same character.
Exactly.
I mean, since he doesn't have lines and nobody addresses him, I was like, I just completely paid no attention to it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a new visual.
Yeah. And why? Why? Yeah. And I maybe understand if the original makeup was too harsh on the actor, but it doesn't look like it was. It's just
we're going to have to talk to Warwick Davis about it, because there may have been an actual legit reason for it.
I don't know.
So another thing that they changed was in every shot where there are students, there are visible students of color, usually more than one.
It is 2004, so yes.
Yeah, and so what's happening here is that Chris Columbus didn't think of it, and so he didn't cast any people of color. And then this new director comes in, and he's like, I can't change the cast, but I'm putting people of color in.
Yeah, I do remember, because I just edited the other two things we did, is I do know that, I believe Dean Thomas in Gryffindor is already a person of color.
Yeah, but he's not in this film.
He was in the last film, because I've seen him in the last film.
In the number 3.
In the number 2.
Yeah. No, but he wasn't in this one.
Oh, I don't know. But like I'm saying, in the last film there was at least one person of color to be seen.
Yeah. So if that character doesn't have lines in this one, then there is no cast of color at all. So he couldn't change the cast because that's set in stone. And here we go. Of course, they did miss an opportunity to make Dumbledore a person of color. But that's probably a 2025 thought, and not a 2004 thought.
But I'm gonna
because now they would do it.
I'm gonna go back on that, because what they always have done is fiddle around with who says what. A lot of the dialogue that Hermione says is stuff that actually in the book Ron says, because it's easier to put it that way, and so they could have easily supplanted, because they do it later, lots of stuff that Luna says is said by somebody else, and stuff that is said by Luna. They hopscotched all the dialogue around a lot anyway, so there's absolutely no reason why Dean Thomas couldn't have a lot of lines in this.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for that. If they wanted a black face in this movie, they could have easily put it in. They could also have made Sirius Black.
Well, they could have made anybody.
They could have,
there's a lot of characters being introduced in this one.
Exactly. Any of those new characters could have been black.
Not just in the school, not just Dumbledore, but Trelawney and Lupin are all new.
Dumbledore is not new, because he was already established character.
Yeah,
and
but
he has
a new actor.
Yeah, but you cannot change the color of an actor in mid-acting. That I can...
I would be fine with that.
Now, but not in 2004.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking
But
at now.
in 2004, you could have made Lupin black. You could have made Black black. You could have made Trelawney black. Or I think who else is new? That's about all of them. Pettigrew could have been black. I would want, for reasons you wouldn't want him black,
no,
but
let's not do that.
let's not do that.
No.
But you could have made Lupin or black.
And Sirius Black, I would not go with that because he was in jail for 12 years and more than half. So this is the theme of this film, but they don't follow through on this, is prejudice. Because at the very start, it's all about the evil villain escaped, and he's plastered on all the walls.
Yeah, they made him so needlessly. I wrote it down. They made him needlessly creepy and
Yes.
no reason.
Yes, and that was done by whoever was making that newspaper. Is that they showed him as this insane, screaming maniac as he was taking his police picture. So it's being vilified. So there's literally a media campaign going on in this film against Sirius Black. So the powers that be have stakes here.
Yeah, and there is some seriously weird stuff going around with Sirius Black because he was for the people. So this is the third in our series. If you haven't watched our first and second, probably watch that because we're talking about certain events in that quite extensively. But when Lily and James were murdered, and Sirius just ran off without saying anything after. And then the next moment, Peter Pettigrew appeared to be dead. Also 12 muggles, but that's nobody cares about
Dead
that.
but disappeared kind of thing.
Yeah, but the
there
muggles
was no body.
The muggles are very, very dead.
Right.
Anyway, they just snap up Sirius Black, say without anything. They say, "Oh, he's a Death Eater, and we'll stick him in prison because he's guilty." There's no trial. There's no checking for dark mark, because
A Death Eater was not mentioned in this movie at all.
I know, but that is the later implication.
Yeah.
But I think maybe J.K. Rowling has not.
Why
Actually,
would he be a Death Eater? Wouldn't he be a Gryffindor? Because he was in that group.
yeah, but that's because if the Potters are obviously portrayed by somebody on the inside. So whoever it is, it's a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
So they think it's that particular Gryffindor who's running around like a screaming maniac, and that he's in league with the Voldemort. And I think, now that I think of it, that J.K. Rowling did not think of the Dark Mark until after this.
Of course, yeah. That's the problem with
But-
a series that lasts so long.
But now that means that they could have, in retrospect, they
Yes.
could have checked for a dark mark, and Sirius Black would obviously not have a dark mark, and they stuck him into jail
I know.
without checking anything.
But the minister knew, and McGonagall have this discussion when Harry has the cloak on, and both of them say he didn't do it. He did not. He may have caused, because they think that he gave the information to Voldemort, but he didn't kill James and Lily. They specifically say that.
No, but
so
that's...
you can only convict him for complicit to a crime, but not for murder.
12 muggles are dead.
Oh, yeah, they don't mention those. It's not. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about the 12 muggles.
No,
and
they don't seem to.
Yeah, and he was convicted for the implication of being guilty of muggles and of Peter Pettigrew's death and 12 incidental muggles.
And the whole thing reminds me very much of the Count of Monte Cristo. They throw him in jail. That's it. Nobody asks any more questions. Nobody figures anything out. Nobody goes looking for Pettigrew's body. Nobody is...
There was an explosion, so that's where the 12 muggles also died. And Pettigrew set the explosion, obviously.
Yes.
So that's another thing that they don't do is give Sirius Veritas serum. Because J.K. hasn't thought of
It's
Jervis
not in this movie, no. There are so many things that could have been done. And then you go, well, she didn't think of it by this year, but this was 12 years ago in the story. Maybe they didn't have it. They didn't know about it.
Nah.
But all of this stuff was in place. But because you know that the Death Eater mark, that would be in place.
Yeah.
Because that's of a generation ago.
Yeah, that's
So,
yeah.
yeah. But this movie does not talk about Marauders, Death Eaters.
It does talk about the Marauders, but
No.
very late. Yeah, it does.
No, it's not mentioned.
Yeah, I know. The film does not. Book does.
Yeah. Well, didn't I say film?
You did say film. No, it actually does, because it actually says it on the... It should say it on the map. And I think that Fred and George... I'm not sure if the word Marauders are mentioned,
No,
but the gentlemen involved, the four, are named by Fred and George, because I can hear them say it. So they are the Mrs. Petfoot Prongs, who made the map. But they are the Marauders, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes by the wayside that's in the book, and
I don't think we actually get to see this properly. Mooney, Wormtail. Too many words that mean nothing.
Mooney is Lupin, Wormtail is Pettigrew, Prongs is James Potter, and Padfoot is Sirius Black.
None of this gets talked about,
No.
mentioned, or anything, and it gets the times that you see it is so fast.
And it is
whisked away.
It is properly mentioned in the book.
Yeah, but nothing is mentioned in the film. So all of these people are kind of like an incohesive bunch. The only time they become cohesive is in the bedroom where Snape runs in and tries to protect Harry. And
that is the Shrieking Shack.
Yeah. And then Harry whacks him onto a bed, taking him out of the conversation. And then these guys just have this back and forth conversation. Basically, at that point, the entire plot is being thrown at the viewer. I find with the Harry Potter films, because so much is happening all the time, it's very concise. It's very like, you blink, you missed it, that's it. They're not going to repeat it. You should have not only understood it, you should have recognized it because you've read the book 3 times.
Yes, you should have read the book. That's
That's
straight up, you should have read the book.
That's really hard. What I did think they did very, very well with this film is that things have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there's a lot of storylines that go through the entire film. And they almost all, get actually finished.
Wrapped up, yeah.
And that makes a good film. So I think this is a proper, fantastically good film and a really, really good watch. But one of the major things that they didn't follow up on is that they have all of this persecution stuff going on at the beginning. They follow it through with Hermione getting effectively shafted by Snape and Trelawney for no reason whatsoever. And also, of course, Draco. She hits Draco, and now we don't talk about it anymore. Except that all this persecution stuff is still happening, and just nobody thinks that it's important to say this is bad. And this is my beef with the first 2 films as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the ingrained prejudices of this world are disgusting.
Yeah, they're disgusting, and nobody questions them. Even if a girl hits a boy or whatever.
I do have to say that I'd have to look it up, but I don't think the hitting of Draco is actually in the book. That may have been an little...
That one gets my thumbs up.
And little added extra for the film.
It was in all the trailers. It was in all the behind the scenes.
It's great.
Literally the biggest thing of this movie is that she gets to hit Draco.
Yeah.
Another thing that is very much on the intolerance area is the moment where they do the Boggart, and then the boy thinks of what does he fear most? Snape. And then how can you turn it around?
No. The Boggart does that by itself. You don't have to think of something bad. It just does that. That's why it's dangerous. That's why.
Yeah, but you have to think of something different and then do your.
You have to make it ridiculous and then
the ridiculous, yeah.
And then make it ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. And so the ridiculous making was having Snape put on granny clothes.
More specifically,
his own granny's.
His own granny clothes.
That's fine, but the thing in there is very much a man in women's clothing is to laugh at.
Yes.
Yeah. And that doesn't get questioned either.
I think if you want to put it in a way that is not objectionable, because yes, it is.
It is very objectionable.
I think the funny thing is more seeing Snape in a completely different garb. Any different garb would have done. So I think that's what the ridiculousness is. But I think I like, because that one is from the book, I like the one better where Ron sees an enormously big spider and then gives it the roller skates and it falls on its back because it doesn't know how to run.
Awesome.
That one I like a lot better.
That's fantastic.
And I think that the film realized that the problem with Snape in the garb, and by the way, kudos to Alan Rickman to putting on all of that, because that was real. That was not CGI, that was real.
That was him, and it should not it should not be a teachable moment that this is to laugh at.
But the thing is, the Remus, as much as that he's supposed to be the good guy, was part of this group of marauders who were bullies.
Yes.
They bullied Snape, and particularly Snape.
Yes.
And so he's not a good guy, and that is a thing that, even though, yes, I think that Sirius, the way Sirius is presented, especially at the start, is way too creepy. But Sirius is not a good guy. Remus is not a good guy.
And they both get off scot-free in this film.
Yes.
Completely. And they are the heroic people to aspire to.
And Sirius is actually actively a bad guy, and that they left it out of the movie, but it is in the book, because one of the reasons that Snape effing hates Sirius is because he tried to kill him. He tried to kill him by setting him up to go look for what is Remus doing. We don't know what Remus is doing, and tells him, oh, he's going to be there and there, and then he's going to be doing something nefarious. And so Snape goes and checks. It's the full moon, and Remus is in full werewolf, and Sirius was going to let Snape die by his friend Remus. So
not only let a person be killed, but also let his friend be a murderer.
Yes.
Because his friend was in his wolf moment, and he wouldn't have known what he was doing.
And the only reason
That's not okay on so many levels.
And the only reason it didn't happen is because Sirius started bragging to James about what he'd done while the thing was going on, and James went, oh no, we're not doing that, and he went right after Snape, because he knew where he went. They went to that same shrieking shack and got him out just in time. Point for James, but only because he's trying to save Remus. He's not trying to save Snape here, because he did realize the danger. And Sirius is like oblivious to this danger, to his friend. He set up his own friend to be, because he's not supposed to be. There's not supposed to be a werewolf at Hogwarts. There's already so many things to say.
Yeah, there's another piece of. Actually, that ties a ribbon around we think it's okay to persecute people. Because at the end, Lupin says, and I wrote stuff down. Addressing prejudice against werewolves as a teacher, he is resigned that that's fine. It's just unfortunate people found out he was. And he is modeling for Harry that, you get found out, you just scram because you don't belong here. You don't get to play a part. That's it. It actually, so I hadn't actually put that together. It does actually complete its story arc about the prejudices. It's just accept them. They're fine.
Yeah. There is more to this.
I'm always mortified that an entire generation of kids grew up with this film.
Yeah.
With this story.
Oh my God. It's about to get worse, because there's something it's not in the movie, because interview with David Thewlis. I do apologize for mispronouncing the name, but it's Welsh, so I'm going to go with Thewlis. He did an interview. Everybody did interviews, and it was just a run-of-the-mill interview, and I do believe it's for Prisoner of Azkaban, first time to play. Oh, so you're playing Remus. Oh, how did it go? And he says what any actor always says when given a bit of paper and not much information. Says, oh yeah, so you get this role, and I'm completely paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what he said, but I tried to find the interview again, but I couldn't. He said, so when you get the part, you take a look, and sometimes you get information about what the backgrounds are, and sometimes you don't. And if you don't, you fill it in yourself. And he said, I was a little short on information for this part, so we have this guy who has this problem, and how do I make it into something I can work with? And he sort of went, okay, so it's pretty much like having a horrible disease like AIDS. And so, and it has to be kept hidden. So maybe he's like gay and AIDS, because that's very similar. And so that's how he went to play it, because you have to play it somehow. You can see that he's playing it really very low-key and very... and I think this interview got to J.K. Rowling. And she saw it. And so 2 or 3 books later, the character of Remus Lupin is now married with a child. Because, of course, she cannot have a gay character, can she? So just got worse.
I thought she retconned Dumbledore to be gay.
Yeah, but then didn't do anything with it.
Oh, yeah.
She cannot have...
I have serious objections to his approach, but okay.
He had to do something because he got no information. And I do know why he picked that approach, because I have seen some of his earlier parts, and he played a lot of gay characters. I don't know particularly why, but I've seen him like 4 or 5 things I saw of him. 3 of them were gay characters, and with diseases. So yeah.
Well, that makes it worse, because then in his mind is him saying, I got found out.
Yes.
That I'm gay, and therefore I'm just leaving the school. Yes. I resigned. He wasn't fired. He resigned.
He resigned. He resigned before he could get fired, because that was the next step.
Yeah, well, don't do that. Don't ever do that.
No, it doesn't make much difference.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yeah, if you get fired, it's their fault.
So?
Yeah,
it's not going to get any more money out of anything.
No, but you can make a case out of it.
No, there's no case to make.
There's no case. There's no justice in this world.
No.
Just the whole Sirius Black story, even though we at this point don't like him. It's so clear that there is no justice at all.
Convicted without trial is that means that this entire society is completely bankrupt. Yeah. Because that is the way to
it's morally
hell.
Bankrupt. Yeah. They don't. So basically, ideally, you would want to get away from them.
Yes, but. Yeah. Like we said in the other 2 episodes of this, is the visiting world is not going to let you go. No. They don't want anyone to leave, because you cannot have visiting people running out in the normal world, because they would make so much trouble there. Yeah. So we have no choice.
Yeah, I'm currently watching the 2nd season of Wednesday. And they're effectively dealing with the same issue, although of course it's being done completely different. The world does know about what they call outcasts, and
I don't think they're well, maybe in that version they're magical. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. The outcasts are the people with forms of magic or are magical creatures, and the school is very Hogwartsian, of course, because they all are now. There's really not a magic school or wizarding school that is not going to be influenced by
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts, no. And but they actually live together with what they call normies, the muggles, the normies of that world. I think that's a better approach.
Yeah, but the problem with the wizarding world is that the wizards are so much more powerful, potentially so much more powerful than the muggles, that it would cause problems pretty quickly. And that their laws are set in stone like 1,000 years ago, and the world has indeed changed. There are quite a few fanfics where they make that a point. Hey, this cannot continue like this because the world has changed around you.
Yeah.
We have cell phones now.
It's
we have
very different if you're talking 1600 or if you're talking 2000.
Exactly. And so you have to start changing with the world, and the wizarding world is absolutely not ready to change at all. So you have to do something.
The Hippogriff. So
Buckbeak.
It was very well done. You get introduction of the Hippogriff. We know that Harry is a seeker in Quidditch. That's a lot of flying on broomsticks, and he loves it. He's very good at it. He is better at it than anybody has been. It's like a once in a generation kind of thing. So he has innate talent. The Hippogriff likes him. He gets to fly the Hippogriff. Then the whole thing is he needs to save the Hippogriff, because he saved the Hippogriff. The Hippogriff can now save them from the werewolf, and then later also save him and Hermione by flying off. The whole film ends with Harry getting a new broom that can fly even faster. A fireball.
A firebolt, oh yes.
Yes, his nimbus goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this entirety I'm thinking he should have been a pilot.
Yeah,
He should have been a pilot. He's clearly, this is his thing,
Yes.
is flying.
Yes. Yeah. Buckbeak, by the way, ends up, because the film doesn't say, Sirius Black rides Buckbeak to London, and for a while Buckbeak is actually living at Grimmauld Place, which I think afterwards that he probably goes to Romania, because that's probably the best place for him.
Well, in the film, Sirius Black gets him, and that's how he gets away.
Yeah.
And they're
but,
both gonna be,
but
on
he
the
has to go after. No, he goes to his house. He has the house at Grimmauld Place, because there's no other Black left. She's actually not true, and I think some of the stuff is set up by J.K. after this book, is that he is not the only Black. There are 3 more Blacks. Narcissa, who's married to Malfoy, to Lucius Malfoy and Draco's mother. Bellatrix, who married one of the Lestrange brothers. She's a Black. And there's Andromeda, who is the oldest of the 3, who married a Muggle, Tonks, and had Tonks, the who we'll see in book number 5.
Okay.
So there are other Blacks, but because patriarchy. Down with the patriarchy!
Down with the patriarchy!
Down with the patriarchy, yes. Because patriarchy, the Black fortune probably can only go to a male heir, and he is the only one left, but
So
he was in jail.
That annoys Bellatrix no end.
Bellatrix is annoyed anyway.
Yeah.
Also, she's in jail right now.
Yeah.
So the end sequence of with the time travel. So the nature of time turners.
Yeah, I do have one question before that. Is why, because they don't address it, why did McGonagall give it to Hermione?
She did not. I believe Dumbledore gave it, because he's a meddling old coot.
No, in the film it was McGonagall.
Well, then I think they changed it, because I think it was or maybe Albus gave it to McGonagall to give to her. As to why, I think that's because Albus had, I don't know, premonition that it might be needed, and that he wanted her to be able to use it when the time was necessary.
Yeah, well, it was necessary, because everybody would have died.
Yes.
So certainly Harry would have died.
Yeah, but in the nature of the time turners is the way it actually works and the way it very suddenly disappeared right after this.
Oh.
Because in book 5, when they go to the treasure trove of mysteries, it's called something else, and a fight ensues and everything is destroyed, all the time turners are there and they're all destroyed, and now they don't exist anymore because they're a plot hole, and JK couldn't fill the plot hole any other way.
If you have okay. I was just gonna say, if you have time turners, that means that every
You've
film
just broke the game.
every film will have to be done this way.
Yes.
So
And she almost broke her mind doing this one, obviously, because she had so much. You can see she had trouble getting this to go around. One of the things is about the nature.
Also, it is a paradox. She created a paradox.
The nature of time turners is that it is always the moment you pick up the time turners, all the events have already happened. That's the nature of time turners.
And that's not normal time travel.
And that you will get you.
So,
it will do your head in.
Oh, we're doing fantasy. Because this is not how time travel works.
And it's doing your head in, and I think it did her head in, and she said, never ever doing that again.
You shouldn't do that. You should do proper time travel.
Yeah. And she didn't.
No.
So she does this fake time travel.
But that's the difference between science fiction and fantasy. 90% of the genre writers do fantasy because they can't do science fiction, because science fiction is hard. You have to adhere to
rules,
physics.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, it's fantasy. Even if you do time travel, even if you do space travel like Star Wars, it's still fantasy.
And if you do your magical spells in a logical, rule-driven way, then you get science fantasy.
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
And if you do really good world building in fantasy, then you have a good set of rules that your magic works by.
Yeah. And since
most of them don't have that.
And neither does she.
So then the solution is, which Tolkien did, was use it sparingly.
Yeah.
Hint at it a lot of times, all the time, but make it inaccessible to most people.
Yeah.
So that when you use it, you don't have to explain how it works. Because you can say, but no, this person can do that in this situation.
And basically, only Gandalf could do the magic, and nobody else could.
Yeah.
And that worked much better than this, because you actually drown in. And I think she drowned in her own story, and she managed to get it somewhat done this time, but she realized she couldn't do it again, and that's why you never hear of a time. That's why you don't hear of the time turner in the next story, and in the story after that, she destroys all of them.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say Dumbledore could have taken it away from everybody.
All gone. The ministry gathers them all up and puts them in the Department of Mysteries, and then that thing is get blown up in a big battle.
Yeah, you have to limit your fantasy elements. You have to limit the magic, because otherwise too much becomes possible.
Yeah, but it's better to have your artifact be limited already than have your artifacts be so big that you have to destroy all the artifacts.
That's why you need world building, proper world building for your. So if you're ever writing a fantasy novel, do some proper world building on your magic. How it works, who uses it, why, what it costs, etc.
Yeah. And not like her, then think of a story and then try to fit in some magic afterwards.
Because then effectively, this is a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, okay, Harry would have died, probably Hermione would have died.
Sirius definitely would have died.
Definitely, but at this point we don't really care about him.
We care for him because Harry cares for him. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
He would have been upset, and he was upset later on. Yes.
But I find that sad for Harry, because his parents, I don't know about Lily, but his father was actually a bully, so it's not all that happy, wonderful, perfect people that he's imagining them to be. He lives in a world of a lot of people who are very dodgy. What Dumbledore did,
even
McGonagall
did. Even the good people are
dodgy. Yeah.
Remus is dodgy. Dumbledore is dodgy. McGonagall is inattentive and dodgy.
And we know that he can't fall back on Muggles. He can't go to the normal world.
But that's
because they completely make a slave out of him.
But even if they didn't, his education is wrong for Muggle world. He cannot go back.
Yeah.
Anyone who enters Hogwarts for education either
And
has
he
to
couldn't
do also GCSEs in the Muggle world to keep up, and then you simply have to do both. You have to do both sets of work, or you simply have the wrong
You just
education.
But also, he would never have lasted in a high school in the normal world, because his magic was just coming through everywhere.
Yeah, that's why they have to get the. I do understand why you have to teach these kids how to harness and use their magic, because if you don't, it's gonna go haywire.
Yeah.
I understand that. I kind of agree with that if that's your situation, but a whole bunch of the other things, like not having Muggle studies at Hogwarts, a lot of them, because they have it later, but it's kind of wishy-washy, and for people like Draco needs to learn how Muggles work, and Harry needs to have wizarding studies. How does the wizarding world work? Because like I said in an earlier version of in the earlier I think number 1, he spends his entire 7 years still learning new things about the wizarding world, stuff that Ron already knows because he has grown up there.
Yeah, and every summer they send him back to the Dursleys.
Yeah, that too. And it's a
then
waste
he
of time.
It's
a waste
totally
of time.
a waste of time. It's of course a placeholder, because for whatever reason he can't spend his summer with the Weasleys or in Hogwarts.
Yeah, but it's just a placeholder that is
where
convenient
do all
for the
these
books.
other people go? They go somewhere.
To their families, but that's what he says.
Well, it's just one more kid at the Weasleys. I've never understood why they don't do that from like literally the end of the first movie.
They actually do
Or
that.
book.
They actually do that because Harry has to go back to the Dursleys because of.
I know.
But only for a like a month out of he has like about 2 months in the summertime, and so in the later books he does spend like many weeks with the Weasleys at their place.
But here he also got out slightly before school started, maybe a week.
Yes, but the films keep skipping that because time runs weird in films, and they don't have any time to show it. But yes, he does spend holidays with the Weasleys, so at least that. Yay! And I do believe Hermione also spends at least one holiday with the Weasleys. I believe so.
Very nice.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
So they do, and the Weasleys actually go on a trip to Egypt. That is.
That's in the. Ron talks about it. Yeah.
Yes, and then because the Wizarding World is so small, there is actually a picture of the Weasleys in Egypt in the newspaper, and Sirius Black sees it. And I don't know how he gets to see it in jail, because I don't think you're supposed to have. Maybe some.
Well, he might get newspapers.
And the guard may get a newspaper. I don't think he's supposed to get a newspaper. Anyway, he sees the picture and he recognizes somebody in the picture. A little rodent sitting on Ron's arm.
Yeah, they did that
and
very
that
well
is
in this
that is
film.
why he escapes.
Okay.
There's the cause and effect is there, but only if you some of it
the
only.
newspaper article and the picture are in the film, so you're supposed to know all this.
If you have read the book, also a sequence of events that is kind of not in the film is how does Snape know where to go, and that is very simple. What happens is that evening Snape has made the potion for Remus. And Remus has seen on the map, that Peter Pettigrew is at the shack or on the way towards the Whomping Willow. So he knows where to go. He leaves all his stuff on the table and runs off after him. And then Snape arrives and sees the open Marauders Map with all the names on it and where people are. Okay. Also, the potion has not been taken, so he has to go after Remus anyway, because there's now a uncaged werewolf potentially running around. So that is why he must go after him. Yeah. And then he comes into the scene of Sirius Black, who he knows is around, but he didn't expect him. Well, maybe he saw him also, because I think that Sirius Black might have been on the Marauders Map as well. So that's another reason for them to go there. Mm-hmm. And so he walks in on that in the middle, and then Harry knocks him out. But before that, Harry finds out why the whole thing about Sirius trying to kill Snape. After Snape's on the floor, so that's why Remus says go easy on Snape, because there is some. So those are the sequence of events. Then a thing that changed in the film versus the book, and I think they're right to do that, is that because they had to keep that out, that basically Snape is running after a known werewolf, and it's going to be that he knows this. But you don't know that in the film. So when the moment that Remus actually turns and Ron is on the floor and Harry and Hermione are going, oh, and then Snape jumps in front and goes like that. That never happened because he's still knocked out. But I think they put it in to show him that he's aware and he's ready.
He's trying to
protect the children.
Absolutely, that was an entire focus for that whole set of
and
scenes.
It is in the book as well, but it's in slightly in a different way. So they try to put that back in the film, but that means that it is different from the film and the book. But I understand why.
But it was good to have those scenes because we don't get a lot of Snape, and most of the Snape that we see is
him being angry,
very angry, and he did humiliate Hermione yet again, because he does it in the first film as well, and one can only assume that he does it because he doesn't consider her worthy.
The problem that with Snape as a person is that this guy went to this school in the hopes of becoming something better. He left this school full of bullies. Turns out the school is full of bullies, and
it still is.
And it still is.
Yeah.
But he left the school in hopes to get something better. Then he runs into Voldemort, and he, for whatever reason, and we'll talk about that some other time. But he ends up joining him, and it's also not better. And he ends up back at this school that he hated, that's full of bullies, that is full of bad memories. And he's stuck there for the next, 10 years. This guy is... He gets no chance to actually grow up, to grow out of this. He's...
Yeah.
He's a bully because other people have bullied him into becoming a bully. And he's taking it out on Hermione, which is and Neville.
But I find all the teachers to be two-dimensional.
Yes.
Dumbledore is only marginally three-dimensional. For instance, Hagrid has more dimensions. He's a three-dimensional character. But most of the teachers are a sort of a caricature.
Yeah, and we only have Hagrid because he's coded for us the reader to like him, or the viewer. We must like him.
Yeah, he's nurturing. He takes care of the animals, and he also takes care of the kids.
Yeah, but
he's literally the only one.
When push comes to shove, he takes them into the forbidden forest in the middle of the night because the headmaster said so.
Yeah, none of them have sense.
No.
They need to do some lessons in common sense.
Yes. If they want to have less dead children and have less Dark Lords, then probably common sense would be a good thing to put on the roster.
Yeah. And this may be a problem with a society that is too small to contain itself, to actually be a fully well-rounded society. It doesn't have enough different people in it. Just dividing everybody up into 4 different houses, which we discussed in the previous thing, is a very, very bad idea.
Yeah, and
to start with,
they should have, because they are slaves to traditions.
Yes.
And if you become a slave to tradition, you will become obsolete, and that is what they are doing. They are so obsolete that their society actually doesn't work anymore.
And
all it produces is Dark Lords and dead kids.
And they don't have any reason to update themselves because they can live outside of normal society. Normal society constantly evolves because there's people coming saying, I don't like how things are. And they find people that also say that, and then they change the world. and this wizarding world can just live outside of that.
No,
they
it
don't
can't.
they don't have to content themselves with normal society at all.
But they can't, because they have now produced a Dark Lord who is actually
Yeah,
going to be attacking Muggles and throwing up bridges and making them very,
Attacking
very
the Muggles
upset.
is messy, yes.
Yes.
But if it just blew up their own world, that might have just been the solution right there.
Yes, if the Dark Lord had stuck to blowing up their just
Sort of
wizards,
like Mahabharata style.
yeah, then
It's
it would have been fine. But the moment he starts to step out of it, and that's the risk
But
you
don't
run
they
if
always
he's
want to rule
exactly,
the world? Yeah.
exactly. So a Dark Lord always wants to step out of their own comfort zone and rule the entire world. And you know what? Muggles are not going to sit still for that one.
Yeah, well.
And we Muggles may be very feeble, but we have our magics as well, you know. Here you have a magic too.
Magic.
We have magic too. It's called electricity.
Nice. Etymology of werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were is from ver, which means man in Latin. They say it comes from the Anglo-Saxon. So just, that's an easy lookup. Not that difficult.
And she doesn't look anything up.
Yeah.
More of same but different. Remus Lupin.
Yeah. Not a problem. It's a giveaway right there.
Remus Lupin was not born a werewolf. He was bitten when he was when he was a wee lad. He was already called Remus Lupin before he was bitten.
Right, yeah. Maybe not. Maybe his parents threw him into in a werewolf family at that point.
No, because we know that otherwise then he wouldn't have been at Hogwarts. No, he stuck with a wizarding family, and that's why he's at Hogwarts. That's why he was because he was already on the roster as a wizarding child, because he was born. Because when they are born, they go on the roster. It magically happens, and that's why the letters know when to be sent out. And so he would have received a letter, but then he was already bitten, and there would have been another visit by Dumbledore probably. This kid is going to come to Hogwarts. No, he can't, because he's a werewolf child. Oh, that's very unfortunate. But we really want him at Hogwarts, and
because our paperwork says so.
And I also think, and this is machinations on the part of Dumbledore, who is very good at machinations, is that it would be actually a good idea to have somebody who also is a werewolf, because then he can actually go and negotiate it with other werewolves. So if we have a wizarding werewolf in our
wow.
Yes.
Is very Machiavellian.
Yes, it is. And that's why I think that Dumbledore would have liked to have Lupin at Hogwarts. Definitely he would have known, but nobody else knew. He would have known, and I think probably McGonagall knew, and Pomfrey knew, because they organized the Shrieking Shack for him to go, and they enchanted the willow to make sure that nobody would accidentally come. So that was all in the know, but they were the only ones until Remus confided in his friends. So yeah, but he was named before he was turned.
Yeah. And then it's a children's book. There's also a lot of Roald Dahl-esque imagery, especially usually in the Dursley scenes. Certainly this one, the auntie that gets blown up, that's very Roald Dahl. And of course,
and also that the way then within the Wizarding world of how they fix it with she gets deflated, of course, but she has to get caught, because she
Yeah.
But she was seen by a lot of people, and these people are all enchanted by the some people from Ministry of Magic who are in charge of that, of enchanting Muggles to make sure that nobody saw anything.
Yeah, and she also has a forget spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is why the Ministry is comparatively very big for how many people are in the Wizarding Society. Pretty much anybody who is not working in Hogwarts or in Diagon Alley or in any other shop is working for the Ministry.
Yeah.
Because you need so many people to go around and
besides,
obliviating
if you have them do anything, if you have them run loose, then they'll just become a problem.
But if everybody is almost everybody is employed by the Ministry, it has to be paid for somehow. The economy of the Wizarding world is mighty strange. I think you have probably a hole somewhere like that doesn't work. But Milton Keynes would be upset.
I was keeping track a little bit of the inventory. Because Harry has an inventory now. He has the map.
Yes.
At the end of this. Because Lupin gives it to him.
Yes, he does.
Because Lupin says, I'm no longer head teacher or no longer teacher of the dark arts. So
and I don't have to.
I can give this to you now. And nobody knows that he's got it. And
Fred and George know. Because they
not
gave it.
Necessarily.
They know that he's most likely to have. As far as they know.
The only other people that actually know about the map is Fred and George.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's got the cloak of invisibility.
Which he got from Dumbledore on his first Christmas at Hogwarts. Yes. And with an anonymous note. And he finds out later it belonged, or I think either at once or he finds out pretty soon it belonged to his father.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense. And he's got the fireball broom now.
Yes.
Because his previous broom is dead.
Yes.
He still has his wand, I believe.
Yes.
I think he has a sweater.
Has. I think every year.
The Weasleys knitted him a sweater.
Yeah, every year he's getting a sweater from the Weasleys.
So as far as we know, that's what he's got.
And his Hogwarts uniform, and an undisclosed amount of spending money from his Gringotts accounts, which he has absolutely
a large account that.
But he has no place to actually spend it at because it's all visiting money, and he can't spend it in the real world.
Diagon Alley every once in a while, but he only goes there once a year.
And he's
very passive when he goes. He's just what people tell him that he needs to get is what he gets.
Yeah, the fanfics actually make some scenes of that, and definitely a conclusion is that he is cagey about spending the money because he is not really sure on how much he actually has and how long it has to last.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah. There is no indication.
It's also not much to spend it on.
There's no indication whatsoever for these kids of what are you being prepared for.
Yeah.
What is your future? Normally you go to school because you have to learn to read and write and you have to learn to be part of society. And then you go to secondary school or high school in order to prepare to learn a trade. Or maybe that's going to be enough, like reading, writing, arithmetic is going to get you your job. Or you're going to go further learning. Doesn't look like there is any further education in this wizarding world. So
plenty of specialized jobs, just no further education.
Yeah, but they don't seem to be gearing towards... 13 is still fairly young, but by 15 I would imagine they would have to be talking about, would you like to go into the ministry in this department, or would you like to go into...
They don't never do anything like that.
Nothing.
And the whole...
No concept of what the future of these kids is going to be.
And the whole curriculum at Hogwarts is sort of set up the way that British school is set up, with a GCSEs and then 2 years later an A-level, and which is called different in this. But then GCSEs, everybody does those, and they're lower, and then you only specialize after that, which I think to our Dutch minds is way too late. In the Dutch education system, you already start specializing at 12. You have a lot of schools have an opening year 12 to 13, and then after at that point you start to select, do we want to go harder or do we going to softer, and then a year or so after that you sort of start losing, getting rid of the subjects that are not working out for you and going harder on the ones that do, and then you end your curriculum at, depending on the level, at either 5, 6 or 7 subjects for your final level, which would be your A level if you see it like that. So we don't have a GCSEs, we have a final level and that's it. Well, but you have several other
levels is only VWO, so the rest is all GCSEs. Yeah.
Yes, but you go only a set of subjects and you go at them pretty hard, which GCSEs is very general. The G in GCSEs is general.
Yeah, it's a wide,
way too wide. So too many subjects, and we go much more narrow. And then you're already long since geared towards, if you're technical, you pick all the technical subjects. If you're more language oriented, you pick more language subjects. If you are more history, geography, you go that way, and you're already on your path. At age 13, you're starting to go on your path, and these people are absolutely not.
They also don't really spend any time on schooling whatsoever, because Hermione does many classes and she doubled up on classes in this one, but she's the only one. The rest of them are just doing whatever teacher tells them to, and it's very passive, and at 13 you can't throw that much at them yet. But eventually there's going to be a year that Harry doesn't have any classes, and then later at the end there is going to be another year that he doesn't have any classes.
There's no year where he's actually at school and there is no classes. That's just the film makes it maybe makes it look like that.
It did, yeah.
But that's not. That's
so
the
he
failing
starts
of
training them in that. But yeah, that's for a later movie.
They all, even in the year that they appear to have no classes, they have transfiguration, they have potions, they have charms, they have all the other classes. And there's also astronomy, which is in the books, but it's never shown on the film, which is a shame. But they go on evening, they go stargazing. So they do that, and there's arithmancy, and there's a whole bunch of other things that are mentioned, but you don't see. And it's kind of boring to see it, because a charms class or a transfiguration class where you transform your pet into a goblet, that's fun. But
yeah, I think you can do a lot with dialogue, though. You can spend some time saying things like, we just did these 3 classes today, and now we already have blah, blah, blah. So, complaints, whatever it is, but you can give a more broad concept of what's going on in that school.
I think that's because everybody expects you to have read the book before you saw the movie.
Well, this, I think, is a failing.
It is a failing.
Movie series.
Yes.
Because I feel the movies should stand on their own.
And that's going to get worse, because this is the film with the most legs, and it's going to get worse from here. And there's going to be one film that's going to fall on its butt.
Yeah, I think this film is very watchable by somebody who hasn't seen the first 2 films and who's not invested in reading anything. I think you can just watch this movie. There's going to be about 25% that is just like gobbledygook.
Yeah,
but you can still watch the entire movie and have a proper story, and on many levels that we talked about, this story works. If you don't mind your paradoxes. And it's a very good movie. It's beautifully filmed. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Even though it's got I
have to say, I was watching it on a much smaller screen because I was watching it streaming, and it was fine.
Completely FYI. Pumpkins. For some reason, J.K. Rowling puts pumpkins everywhere, because witches and pumpkins should be together.
Halloween kind of.
Yeah. And I did, for other reasons, I ended up looking up the history of pumpkins. Pumpkins are native of North America continent only.
Yeah.
There are no pumpkins in historical Britain at all. So that's dumb. Again, one of the things you can very easily look up. It's on the Wikipedia. And when J.K. made this, would have been an encyclopedia. She could have looked it up. But anyway, she just does whatever and sticks things together and to make it look good and not look behind. Don't look behind the curtain, which we are definitely doing.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is some of the magical creatures, and some of them are from the previous film, like Dobby and Fox.
So happy Dobby isn't here.
Yes,
very nice.
Because he is a story killer, so that's why she's got rid of Dobby, make him disappear for no reason. Like the time turners after this, they will never be seen again.
Fantastic.
Because you can't have them here. Yeah. So you have Dobby, time turners, Fox, the Dementors, and all these things that are just thrown out and then put away.
Yes. So about the Dementors. It's interesting coming into the film, and then the attack from the Dementors quite quickly, and then he gets to Hogwarts, and it turns out the Dementors are actually the guards at Hogwarts. And the first time he gets to Hogwarts, Dumbledore stands up and says, "Don't go in the forest. Things there will kill you. Welcome to Hogwarts." That was literally his speech, and paraphrased, but those were the sentences. And now it's like, you got all these creatures that can kill everybody, so don't come near them. They're, they might kill you, but they're here to protect us. Yeah. Whoops. It's a very, very dangerous world.
Yeah, but the Dementors there, and I'm not 100% sure it's in the movie, but it is in the book. Dumbledore didn't want them there. They are been put there by the Ministry. He did not ask for them to be there. And they're supposed to be at Azkaban. That's where they belong. And I was thinking about the nature of the Dementors and why Azkaban is, because Azkaban is a really shitty prison. Oh my God, it is so shitty.
Yeah. It's medieval.
Yes, but you have Dementors, and the Dementors, the idea of Dementors was thought of by J.K. Rowling as these dark thoughts that people have, and then she gave it shape, which is a fair literary trick to do. Fine. But now you have them in your wizarding world, and what do you do with them, and how would they live? And they seem to be thriving on eating people's souls and or their misery. We're not quite sure. And I think what the wizarding world problem, the Ministry has the problem with these creatures. They probably just appear. You don't know why they appear, but now they are here, and they will suck out anybody's soul, including Muggle souls, which we don't want Muggles to be sucked out, because then they would find out about the wizard. It gets messy, and dead people, and it's people are going to ask questions. Very unfortunate. So what do you do with them? You round them up. You stick them in a faraway castle in the middle of the water, and you stick all your worst people in there that they can suck out. Hence the prison. So the prison kind of makes sense. It is, but the prison is not there to punish the wizards. It is there to feed Dementors.
Wow.
I'm not sure if J.K. meant it that way, but that's how it comes out. Because possibly Dementors are unkillable, so you have to do something with them. And you cannot let them roam around, just so you have to feed them. So you feed them Sirius Blacks and other ballistics for stages. And whoever goes into that jail is going to get fed to a Dementor in bits and pieces. But I think getting them at Hogwarts, I don't know what the Ministry was thinking, because that was dumb. Could have killed everybody.
Yeah.
Dumb. Why?
Yeah.
My God.
I think this film is reflecting quite well that this is a very dark series of books, and that the world building is super dark, because the first films were very fluffy, first two films. And this film is saying, we're growing up now. It's not fluffy.
Yeah, this is the last bit of fluff you're gonna see in this
it's
series.
Still a little bit like semi-fluff here.
Yeah, but that's not next one.
We're going down the drain really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And this film is taking that seriously, and it has to, because the first two films did not set that up for it.
No.
But if you want to sell this as a children's series, or the first two should be watchable by 11-year-olds, you can absolutely. I don't know if this film is watchable by an 11-year-old.
It's still colorful enough.
Yeah, but there's a lot of torture and stuff going on.
Yeah, but a lot of this torture is very cerebral, because it's not. There's no blood and gunk.
No, but I think Harry has like 3 Dementor attacks on him. So
yeah, but he basically just faints.
Yeah, he just faints. He falls,
the chamber
and then wakes up again.
Chamber of Secrets was worse with the blood on the wall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think in the actual visual scariness. The werewolf is pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But it was on.
I thought the Dementors were quite scary. Yeah.
But they're kind of abstract. And the werewolf is nice Remus Lupin that turns into a werewolf. So yes, he's scary, but there's nice Remus Lupin underneath that. So it's not as bad as all that.
I find that objectionable.
Yes.
In films, especially films for kids, is where they go, yeah, it looks scary, but really, it's a nice guy. So now we're teaching, literally for the last 100 years, we've been teaching people that it may look scary, but it's really a nice guy underneath, so don't worry. And if there's not, our hero will kill him, and that's just fine. Because murder's okay if you're a hero and the bad guy's a bad guy.
Yep.
Yeah. And we wonder how we got where we are.
We can talk about the actors for a bit, because I think what makes this this entire series is, we're complaining about a lot of bad writing, but the people who make it workable are the actors.
Oh my god.
So much work they did, and the production, but also the actors.
The production, how everything's put together looks. It's very little I can fault now that they're actually wearing civvies when they're supposed to be wearing civvies. The actors, certainly the kids, the main cast kids, they now can act. Whereas in film 1 they couldn't act, and they did a nice job. And in film 2 they kind of could act, and it was actually a nice upgrade. But now they can act.
Yeah, now they can act.
They're all good. They're all serious. They're all believable.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the director, because the kids are just that young, and that's you need.
Well,
that.
it is all the work that was done in the first 2 films is to get these kids to the point where they know how film works, but also they can act in front of a camera with all that pressure on. That's a lot. They're 11, 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
and all above average intelligent kids, because the three are the 4, because Tom Felton as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And absolutely above that, and so many good actors. And I think that's the only compliment I'm going to give J.K. Rowling in this entire series, is that when they said we want to make a movie out of this, because the American company said we want to make this into movies.
Warner Bros. Yeah.
She said only British actors.
Yeah.
And
otherwise
so we get
the school would have been half filled with American kids, and then
it would have been Tom Cruise as Snape.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We need them to be all British, and that is the only thing she did correctly. And of course, when Fantastic Beasts came around, she was a complete sellout. So she said, "Have at it." So the only compliment I'm going to give her, that's it. And so we get a lot of David David Thewlis, who plays Lupin, we would never have seen him in a major motion picture, because like I said, I've seen him in a lot of different roles where he was playing like borderline figures who were like the third and second victim in a murder case, that sort of thing is what he was playing, and he's really good, but now he gets a chance.
And the reverse, because with all these teachers, almost all the teachers are notable British actors with, like, as they call national treasures kind of people. Yeah. And they just come in to do a small bit because that's the role, and it's a proper one, and they do it fantastically well. And where do you get this? You don't get this in most film productions. It's like, oh, the 10th and the 13th on the credit list is actually like major star.
Yeah, Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, who's absolutely a major star as well. And a British major star, but yes. And
Emma Thompson, and she's there to stay.
Yes,
we're going to get more of her.
Yes,
and her role, as far as I remember, doesn't actually get much bigger. It's just this is the role.
This is the role.
She is going to be there. She's going to do that.
Yeah, and she signed up for that for the rest of the movies, or for as long as they need her to do this silly glasses and silly hair.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think I will forgive Trelawney for treating Hermione that way. That was not okay.
Oh, I don't remember if it's in the movie, but the way she treats Harry, she scares him so much.
Oh, she does that. She does that, but he doesn't have the reaction in this film. But she does it twice. And it should have been really, really bad. But you actually get the scare reaction from Neville, because she implies that his granddad is dying or something like that. It's like, is your granddad doing well? And she's going, ooh, that's not good. And gives it back to him. He's like, what? But she does her reaction to what Ron is reading in the tea leaves for.
And literally the entire year that he goes to her classes, she gives him every single time a bad prediction. Every single time.
She shouldn't be giving predictions.
She shouldn't be giving predictions.
It's ridiculous. These kids don't need to know that.
And the reason she's at the school is because Dumbledore wants her there, because once in a blue moon she does a real prediction that actually does something.
And she does, when he meets her in private, she has that prediction. But Dumbledore did not warn Harry that what that looks like, so he doesn't understand what it is, which is Dumbledore's failing. Dumbledore should be... Dumbledore fails all the time, and McGonagall, can we just not even? Just! Oh my god. And these people are supposed to take care of these kids. Because you've taken them away from their parents.
Yeah.
Not just taken away, you've gone from London to somewhere in the Highlands of Scotland.
Yeah,
that's like 800 kilometers.
They can't just, when they're having a bad day, they just can't go pop home and say, okay, mommy, can you put a Band-Aid on it?
And even if they do have call home devices, which I assume they do, because they don't complain that they don't.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't. So I think it's a crime to send kids off without having a way to contact your parents.
The setup in the school should have been much more family-like, with McGonagall taking a much bigger role. So this is just strange. And I think it's because J.K. Rowling herself has never been to a school like that. So she doesn't know what it needs. And she's making a look like what she thinks it might be. And so it's not real.
Yes, and that's really reflected in these films. Certainly the first two films. I think this film is starting to get more to sort of like a realism. What would that be like for those kids? In the Wednesday series, they actually do have, I forget what they call it, but a house mom for your area where you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. So for that set of kids, there's this one adult. And there should be... they do mention in the very, very first one that there's a prefect for each house.
But they don't say anywhere, and because I think the director doesn't really know, and it's not in the script. What does this prefect do?
And
how is it helpful? What does it get these kids to have a prefect?
In this one, they specifically mentioned the head boy, and
Yes.
they do nothing with it.
Yes.
There's a boy running through saying, "I'm the head boy," when things are going wrong, when they can't get into their dorm, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing gets done with it. And you're thinking, it's probably in the book, but certainly there needs to be a point to this boy being head boy. What does that mean? What are his tasks? Can other kids go to the head boy? Is he old enough? He's like final year.
All of those things.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, and I don't think it's great. It's something where the younger kids can go to an older kid with their problems, but I would really prefer that the younger kids can go to, and any of the kids can go to an adult with their problems, because that's needed because you've taken away their assigned, the nature assigned them some adults. You've taken them away from their parents, so
you have to have somebody take a place of that.
yeah.
Yes.
And if you don't do that, you have failed.
Yes, and they have failed.
And taken care of
they
these
have
kids.
failed altogether in this thing.
And Dumbledore cannot be it. Dumbledore could be it for Harry, but not for all the kids. You know, you assign some.
But then he actually has to do it, and he doesn't do that either. If he decided I wanted to just because Harry is Harry, I could mentor him. He could have done that.
Yeah.
Just because Harry is Harry, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
He is the chosen one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a secret, so he might as well be the big mentor for the chosen one.
I would also suggest that this story basically makes it impossible to write a legitimate chosen one story ever again, because as soon as you do, it's going to look like a Harry Potter story,
especially if it also includes some sort of school.
Yeah. And with chosen ones, it's somebody who's young because they're chosen, and that story is that you find out what you're chosen for.
It's either going to be Harry or it's going to be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's a chosen one right there.
And if it's a female one...
Whereas Wednesday is really much more of an Anne of Green Gables. Which is, there's a person, and the person has things in their lives and reasons why they are what they are, and now they go to a school where they learn things and evolve.
It's more of the nature of the Addams family. The way the Addams family was set up was as a group of people and not at all about a singular chosen one. Yeah. The fact that Wednesday is a leftover to star in her own show is because of history. It has nothing, not because of the setup.
Yeah. And for Harry, he has all the good and the bad of being the chosen one. Like literally before this film, this third book film specifically talks about all the crap that happened and why he is now here. Not entirely, because we don't get the Voldemort part of the story, but we do get like all of the how James and Lily died, and therefore he's now an orphan, and who was involved in it. And who should he be angry at? He's basically now seeing that he knew he had the baggage, but now he's seeing the baggage.
He had the stats of the baggage, and now he sees the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah.
And yeah. And now what to do after that?
Yeah,
And
he's not done yet.
And then Remus is gone, so he gets no more education. Because the next year, the education is going to be, he's going to be busy doing other stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the one where he doesn't get the education.
I think they don't have any time to show it, but because that...
But I would say that Harry does love Hogwarts a lot. He is waiting every summer until Hogwarts starts again. He really, it's the best thing ever in his life. So if anybody is ever going to stay at Hogwarts and be a teacher there, Harry would be a good candidate.
Maybe. If he doesn't get killed being an Auror or whatever.
Well.
Anyway, I think that's my opinion.
And my opinion.
And we're sticking to it.